Well, as the St. Louis Cardinals continue to fade in the playoff race, they've made some questionable roster decisions this past week with the demotion again of Jordan Walker, recalling Luken Baker, some clear philosophical differences, if you want to say, between manager Ollie Marmol, John Mozeliak. And at the same time, now you see a Dylan Carlson and other talent performing like they always have the past few years elsewhere. What are the Cardinals doing with their young players? And are like, what? How on earth are the Cardinals going to get to a place again where they can start developing their own talent and reaping the rewards of their own talent before they go on elsewhere? We'll talk about all that in this episode of Dealing the Cards. Andrew, I don't even think we changed the bottom graphic because it's. I mean,
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know.
Stay the whole season. Like it's just like Cardinals are dead. Like we could just leave it there. But I think today we really want to hone in on what on earth are they doing with their young talent. It's getting kind of ridiculous at this point. It's been that way for a while, right? Like it's been a meme around baseball that the Cardinals they get let go of a player and they go on to do something else elsewhere. I feel like last year it really became a national story because of you had Zach Gallen, Randy Rosarina, and Dalton Garcia at the All-Star game coinciding the Cardinals falling off as a team. Lane Thomas had also had a career year that year. There's a lot of stuff going on like that, but you see, obviously, this week, the demotion of Jordan Walker. He came up with the club last week, so he's really only up a week. And when he came up, I was kind of like, hey, I get that Katie Woo's reporting and John and kind of Ollie's saying like, hey, he's a platoon bat, but I expect him to play more than that because it's Jordan Walker, right? Like, why on earth wouldn't he be playing more? And then he was a platoon bat and he barely played. And then they have 10 games coming up against right-handed starters and they demote him. And it's like, what on earth just happened? Why did you even call him up in the first place? If this is the role, why wasn't it Luken Baker or Ivan Herrera or someone like that? I don't know what to say anymore, Andrew. Like I feel like I try to find the silver lining in a lot of this. I try to give them benefit of the doubt with a lot of this kind of stuff, but this one, and I'm not recanting some of the stuff I've done in the past. I think they get too much crap for Dalton Garcia. I think Lane Thomas, I'm kind of like indifferent on. The Randy Rosarina one is tough, but I mean, you can see in the moment, Matthew Liberatore was a really solid starting pitching prospect at that point. Like it kind of made sense. They needed pitching. Like you can kind of talk about these, but the Jordan Walker thing, man, it is just ridiculous. And you would think they've learned, especially because they have the hindsight of they keep making mistakes. You would think with this one, they're like, hey, we can't mess this guy up because we've done all this stuff. And then they're doing it. Like, Andrew, what are they are the Cardinals just cooking their young talent at this point? Not in a good way. Are they destroying the futures of their young talent at this point?
I mean, the track record is there, and you have to wonder whether or not that's going to happen with basically every young prospect that comes up. Sorry, Kareem, if you're listening to this, but like, even have to think about that with their new top prospect was like Weatherholt, right? Like whether or not they're going to rush him or like do whatever nonsense they're doing with Jordan Walker right now, because it's just not right. It seems like there's some kind of disconnect between the front office and what they're trying to accomplish right now, because Luken Baker was hitting better against lefties in AAA anyway. And I don't know who was looking at the numbers and who was making the decisions to platoon Jordan Walker only against left-handed pitchers. But that just doesn't make any sense, right? Like you look at his numbers and like it's not like a huge split where he's like really just a lot better against right-handed pitchers, but like he is like slightly better against right-handed pitchers for like his entire professional career. And it just didn't make any sense to platoon him like that. And when he was up, you saw some really weird swings again from some like pitches in the dirt. I remember there was one specific at bat with runners in scoring position where the Dodgers didn't throw Jordan Walker a single strike and he struck out because he swung at a bunch of sliders in the bottom. And it's like, okay. Clearly you rushed him up when he wasn't like quite ready yet. And I don't know, like now, who knows? Like he could get back to Memphis and be on a cold stretch again because he hasn't really played in like a week and a half. And like, what was it? He got like 11 plate appearances, went 1 for 11 when he was up here. And it's just like, why are we doing this with who was our top prospect, was the number one prospect in all of baseball? Like you don't do that with young players. And I don't think like I'm going to defend Ollie here and say that like it was an organizational decision to platoon Jordan Walker because they were facing a number of left-handed pitchers through the time that he was up. I still don't get it, but like I think 8 of the next 10 matchups they have are against right-handed pitchers, and that's why they sent him down. I don't think there was a disconnect between Mo and Ollie. I think both of them were in the wrong to try to have Jordan Walker as a platoon bat. But like, you just need to give your young players reps. You need to give them playing time, and it's just not correct, like the way they were handling it. And there were like you said, Luken Baker, and Herrera, like other options that they could have gone with for that platoon bat off the bench, and they just didn't do it. And also, I don't understand why Pedro Paez is still on this roster and not Ivan Herrera. But whatever. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I don't get it. I will say I remember when the platoon stuff first started happening, I was like, I don't know how much of this is Ollie versus Mo, and it was hard for me to believe that Ollie didn't want Walker to be playing. But it kind of feels like the more it's happening, like the more you've heard from both Mo and Ollie, keeps kind of hammering home, like, yeah, we brought him up for this specific role, and this is the role he's going to play. While Mo has publicly said, hey, like if Walker's not going to play, why do we have him here? And it's like that screams to me Mo gave Ollie Walker to try and help fix the offense. Ollie's using him as a platoon bat, and Mo's like, well, why are we platooning him? Let's just send him back down. And it's like, did they not have that conversation before they called him up? Like, what happened? Like, did Ollie change his mind? Did Mo not talk to Ollie? Like, did they just disagree and then Mo went for it anyways? I don't even know whose fault it is at this point, but it's just like another example of how this continues to be a dumpster fire with stuff like this. And it's an embarrassment. It really is. And I hate saying it like this because I I, I like Ollie, and again, I've liked what Mo's done his like over his whole like especially mostly early on his tenure, but I think he's been a good executive. But they are just coming to like the crash at the end. It's like, and people are going to remember this, right? Like a horrible ending is going to make it really hard to remember the good times. And at this point, I don't really know how fans are going to view this era of Cardinal baseball other than a massive disappointment, a massive turn in the wrong direction. And they're not wrong for that. It just is dumbfounding to me that they've gotten to this point. There's been some jokes I've seen on Twitter where it's like normally fans think they can run a team, but like in all reality, they have no idea what they'd be doing. But like in this situation, it's like I think all the fans knew what to do. In the Cardinals front office was like, well, let's figure out how to like literally. I don't know if there's a way they could have handled this worse. Like if they didn't call up Walker when he was hot, they would have had a lot of advocates. I mean, there'd be some fans that were really mad, right? Like we were even like, should they call up Jordan Walker? Does it make sense? Like we were talking it through, but at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of people like, okay, it makes sense. Let him keep cooking. Let him keep figuring out how to swing. Don't mess with him unless you're going to roll with him. Or they could have brought him up, and if he kept struggling, he's playing every day. It's like, okay, well, you have to give him a chance, right? Like Jackson Chourio, they started horribly. Ever since June 1st, he's been an incredible hitter. Jackson Chourio looked like he did not belong in the major leagues, but the Brewers stuck with him, and he figured it out. What do the Cardinals do? They bring back Jordan Walker, then they don't trust him, they don't play him, and then they kill his confidence again because they send him back to Memphis. Like if I'm Jordan Walker, I'm so mad right now because I'm like, oh, I got the chance, I'm back. Oh, I guess I'm gonna play a little bit. Okay, I 1 for 11. I didn't really get a lot of opportunities. You're making me face lefties, which I'm not even that good against. Like my strength is same split, right? Like right-handed pitching. And then you're gonna send me down, and all the talk is kind of like, hey, we kind of disagreed on how we should do this, and we kind of just decided to, like, if we're not gonna agree on this, then send him back down. It's like, why did you call me up in the first place? I don't get it. I just don't get it anymore. And it's absolutely hilarious that the Dylan Carlson pop off is happening right now at the same time that the Cardinals are now messing up the best prospect they've had since Dylan Carlson, Albert Pujols, and Oscar Taveras. It's like the same way they talked about Dylan Carlson before is how they've talked about Jordan Walker. I personally think Jordan Walker was a tier above Dylan Carlson as a prospect. So I think there should have been a little more hype. I kind of think JJ Weatherholt will be above Jordan Walker in that sense too, not just because of recency bias, but because Walker wasn't drafted as a top 20 prospect in baseball. Like Weatherholt upon arrival was like all baseball's like, oh yeah, this dude's one of the best 20 prospects in baseball. That to me feels like a different caliber of prospect. But like, I don't know what to do right now. I trust JJ Weatherholt, I like him as a talent, but like, are the Cardinals going to mess him up too? What's the future of Jordan Walker? I think I'm at a place now where I'm like, hey, I think leadership change is coming this offseason. And because of that, I trust that they're going to figure out Walker, and they're going to, or at least hope I do. I hope they didn't mess him up too much at this point. I trust the development of JJ Weatherholt. I like what I'm seeing from the pitching down the minors for the most part. I'm encouraged about the future of it, but I think that my main concern is Jordan Walker, and then also like the Nolan Gormans, the Lars Newbars. Like, are these guys going to be messed up by the Cardinals too? And then it's going to be the future guys. You're kind of like, okay, these are the guys that maybe have a little bit more of a fighting chance. I don't know what to say anymore. Dylan Carlson is probably the one guy where I was like, I know he's going to be better elsewhere, but I was kind of like, yeah, I don't see it either. Like, I don't really think this guy's all that good. He took him 2 seconds in Tampa to find a role and to excel in it. I don't know what to do anymore, Andrew. I just, uh, anything else with that? I'm at a loss.
Brandon Crawford's not here anymore, so we don't
Oh
have to.
yeah. How are you feeling about losing a two-way player?
Yeah, it's sad, but maybe we'll get a chance to see another guy pitch when we're down like 12-0 next week when we play the Yankees.
Who do you think's the guy they send in, like Luken Baker?
I don't know. Maybe it's like Matt Carpenter.
Oh yeah, I feel like they could give Carp one.
Yeah.
What if that was like his retirement ceremony? They're down by 20. I forget who the
Instead of Bueno batting, it's going to be Carpenter pitching.
That's what we have to look forward to at this point.
Maybe.
I put it on Twitter last night. The Cardinals are one game closer to the wild card than they are from being a top 5 pick right now. They're 7 games away from being in the top 5, and they're 6 games away from being in the wild card.
Why not just throw it all away?
I don't see them doing that, but I don't see
fun.
why not.
Get another draft stream with Kareem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are definitely headed toward a top 11 pick right now.
Yeah.
So in the lottery, maybe they pull Guardians and they get the number 1 pick. I don't know anymore, dude. I just don't know what to say. It's so bad. It's so bad. Do you think, are you good with, I'm sure you're good with Crawford being gone though, right?
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Maybe Arenado's kind of sad, but maybe that'll make him play better. Or Goldie. But Goldie struck out with the bases loaded yesterday.
Oh my gosh. Seriously, wasn't that game just the epitome of the year? It's
Yeah.
like they were in it. They shouldn't have been in it, but they were. They had the bases loaded. And then Goldie and Gorm just strike out. I'm like, okay, it's the same old, same old. I don't know what to say anymore. Also, like, how does Gorm keep getting opportunities, but they just like we're done with Walker after 11 at bats? I'm like, this dude has close to a 40% strikeout rate right now. Like, how is he not the guy going to Memphis to fix things? I don't get it. I don't get it, dude. I don't get it anymore. So, how do you feel about Luken Baker?
Well, I don't think he's going to like play that much because we had a bunch of pinch hit opportunities yesterday, and like,
yeah, they didn't give it to him.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. Like, he's kind of like the 28th man on the roster, right? Or 27th. How many? 26.
26. Yeah, 26. But they operate like they have a 27th, 28th man of some of these guys. Oh gosh.
We're about to have 28, I think.
Yeah, in September 1. So,
but I don't know, man. Like,
who did they call up in September? Like, did they bring up Walker again? Like, that would be weird. Did they do Jose Fermin? Like, that's probably the Ivan Herrera spot.
It's probably Von Herrera and like McGreevy.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or Matz or Lynn.
Well, actually, yeah, they do need to make space for Matz and Lynn. So there you go. Do you want to see an extended run from Luken Baker, or do you not care? Like, would you like to see Baker get more?
Sure, like, can't be worse than Goldie, right?
Yeah.
At least with runners in scoring position, like I would have pinch hit Baker for Goldie like yesterday.
Yeah.
Or for Gorman.
Yeah.
Like, it's guaranteed strike. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
No, yeah, I don't blame it. I feel like ideally I'd like to see Burleson get a lot of first base opportunities because I want to see defensively what does he look like for next year. I think that's really important. It'd be interesting if they stop playing Goldie as much. There's no way they bench him, but I would love to see Baker and Burleson kind of split opportunities there and to see what you have with Baker. I'm not a big Baker guy. I kind of think you're gonna. Like, I don't see a huge future for him, but like you might as well see while you've got a month of baseball, like maybe Baker does have something for you, and maybe because they kind of need, if they're going to move on from Goldie and Burleson's the first baseman, they need a left-handed or they need a right-handed platoon for Burleson because he's so bad against left-handed pitching. hopefully that improves next year, and so you can start to play him more often. But for right now, you kind of need to have that baked in. So Baker maybe is that guy, right? Like maybe he next year operates as like the fourth guy off your bench who use him like any pinch hit opportunities, but then starts against left-handed pitching. But you got to see it, right? They can't just give him 6 at bats, 3 of them pinch hits, and be like, "Oh, well, he didn't perform." It's like, okay, well, you did that to Dallas Garcia, and guess what? He ended up in Randy Arozarena, and then they figured it out elsewhere. So maybe give these guys some opportunities. I don't know.
At this point, Albert Pujols would be better than Goldie.
Oh gosh. I mean, I believe
he's like
it.
45.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love to see like some phantom IL stints for Goldie, for Lynn, for these type of guys, and then to see Baker get an opportunity, or Herrera back on the roster, McGreevy get some starts, maybe Graceffo get some starts. Because at this point, I know they're trying to compete, so they're not going to do it. But whenever they figure out, which I hope is sooner rather than later, that they're not making the playoffs, that they have to start looking for figuring out who's going to contribute next year. Because like we can talk about potentially how they could build this rotation, but if they get to a place where they actually trust McGreevy and Graceffo as depth options, that allows you to be a little bit more creative with declining options on a Gibson and Lynn, even though they could do that already. But like knowing the way they handle things, it maybe would let them do that a little bit better. To use Palante as like a guaranteed starter next year, or like a penciled in starter rather than the 6th guy, saves you a lot of money. Then maybe you can go after Nathan Eovaldi type or someone in that range, Max Fried. Like I don't see them doing the free burn stuff, but like you could maybe go in that tier below that if you're the Cardinals. Again, if it's Hein Bloom in charge, I'm actually open to a lot of scenarios because I actually think we haven't seen him with the Cardinals. So like we've seen him influence things, we haven't seen him in charge. So maybe he's more willing to do some cool moves. I don't see him doing the Burns thing, but I could see him going after Eovaldi or something like that. But if it's Mo, we kind of know what's going to happen. It's probably going to be pick up Gibson's option, go after another number 3 starter type. Palante's your 6th man. Whatever. But like, if you can see some starts down the stretch, maybe you change things again with Baker. Like, do you need to bring in a free agent first baseman to platoon with Burleson, or can you use Luken Baker for that? Because that saves you money there too. I mean, I think I kind of maybe like to see Thomas AJC down the stretch. He can get spot starts all over the place. Like he could spell Nato at third. He could start against righties at second base over Gorm. He can back up win at shortstop. Like I think there's plenty of opportunity there, but it would require them waving the white flag and starting to like put some of those like, hey, Lynn's knee actually still hurts him more, so he's going on the IL, or oh, Steven Matz had a setback. Oh no. Or oh, Paul Goldschmidt has a headache. I think he's going on the 60-day IL. Like it's gonna require some of that stuff to make it happen.
Or just put them all on waivers.
That's also true. They could do that. There's no way to do a Goldie though. Like that would be I think
that'd be fun.
I think someone would pick him up. But
yeah, probably.
I could see them doing that with Lynn potentially. Gibson, I don't, because I think there's a real chance they bring him back. Even if they don't bring him back, I think they'd like the option. Like they'd like to kind of figure things out for a little bit. So, and Kittredge, I think they want to try and bring back too. So I don't really see the waiver stuff with them. But
did you see the play Tommy Edman made yesterday at shortstop? Which
oh my gosh, it was like Mason Wins from last night. It was a great play. So top 25 looks so weird on Edman. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. What is he, 19?
Yeah.
I don't know who wears that on the Dodgers, but probably somebody else.
Probably somebody else. It's not Yamamoto because he's a Ben Zobrist fan.
Well, we can.
That's how all Japanese players are, right? When they get 18, it's because of Ben Zobrist. Well, it's not for any other reason.
If we get Roki Sasaki, then we have to like Jordan Walker. We have to trade him because he wears 18.
We can change his number. That's not too hard. True. Oh man, dude, I just don't know what to say anymore. It's crazy. It's so frustrating. Yeah, there's a lot of. I'm seeing a lot of disdain in the chat for their ability to develop bats at this point. It's bad. I don't know what to say anymore about it. So, yeah, I'm at a loss, dude. I'm at a loss. How do you feel about Dylan Carlson popping off with the Rays?
It's fun, you know. Like the Rays just know like how to get all their good players. Maybe that's what Heim Bloom has in mind for Jordan Walker.
Yeah. Send him to the Rays? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean like fix him like the Rays because he's from
Yeah.
there.
That's why I'm not as pessimistic about the future as I am just more like the present sucks and what they've done the past few years is just ridiculous at this point. Um, So yeah, I do think okay. So we did talk about how last week we wanted to do this, and it's taking us 20 minutes to get to it, but I think it's a fair thing. We should talk about the young bats, and we should talk about what on earth they should do with the offense. But before we do that, I want to thank a couple of our sponsors. First, SeatGeek. I know that we've been pretty down on the Cardinals this whole podcast, but at the same time, it's still fun to go to baseball games. So if you're interested in still going to a game down the stretch, SeatGeek, using our code News, you can get $20 off your first purchase, $50 or more. And again, you don't have to use it on Cardinal games either. So if you're kind of like, I don't want to go see this team play, that's okay. Go to a concert, go to a Bears game, go watch Caleb Williams. I keep saying it. Caleb Williams is going to be awesome. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for him. I guess he's not playing this weekend, but they're playing in Kansas City. If you want to make a trip over there, if you want to go watch Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, if you want to go to a basketball game, you want to go to a concert, all this works for our code News on SeatGeek. Again, it saves you $20 off your first purchase, $50 or more, so you can get better tickets and save, or you can maybe go in on some tickets with some friends. Or again, a Cardinal game's still fun. I'm gonna try and get to a couple more before the season's over, but I just might not be hoping for a win in those games. I might just be looking at development at this point. So the other sponsor we want to thank is 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. 314 is located on 9640 Olive Boulevard in Olivet. Open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 94 on Saturdays. That's the special two-way Mason win card that Andrew's been kind of pumping out lately. I was looking at their Instagram today or yesterday, and they've got some different cards in stock right now, deals. They've got a lot of like NFL rookie cards and stuff going on. So it's like a Justin Herbert, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jamar Chase, Brees Hall. They just posted they have a rookie signed Jackson Trio card right now. So if you want a rookie who's actually performing like we thought they would, Mason wins one of them, but Walker, not so much. Again, follow them on Instagram, 314sports_cards. They've got they'll post like different cool deals they've got going on and cards they have in stock. But also just go in St. Louis and check them out. Andrew's gone a couple times. I need to make my way down there next time I'm in St. Louis. So if you're interested in buying, selling, or trading sports cards or Pokemon cards, 314 Sports Cards Collectibles is your spot. So,
Thanks, 314.
Thanks, 314. Thanks, SeatGeek. Okay, we do want to talk about the offense, though. Sorry that it's taking this long to get to it. Andrew, okay, so I don't think there's any fixing it this year. What's your game plan to start overhauling this offense come the offseason? What's the first thing you want to do?
Not re-sign Goldie.
Okay. Yeah. Even so, here I'm gonna present as you're talking things through, because I'll keep asking you.
Unless he takes like the Brandon Crawford contract.
Okay, I was gonna be curious if he's open to like, let's say he's open to coming back. It's 10 million or less. I don't think he'll be.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know if I would even do that.
I was thinking about like a platoon against left-handed pitching role, like say it's an $8 million deal off the bench.
What do we give Albert Pujols? Like 2.5?
Yeah, I think there was incentives though for it to be like 6 million or something.
He probably hit those, but
Yeah. So, oh yeah, he definitely hit those. There's no way the incentives he didn't hit. Unless sometimes there's like World Series or All-Star ones baked in, but
no, he was an All-Star. They just let him in.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But then the second half he played like one. So
you think they'll just let Goldie in like next year? Maybe he's like, yeah, I'm retiring.
No, he's not that kind of player. I think Jackie's right though. I think I just saw him say like if they resign him, he's gonna start. I agree with that, and that's why I'm not on the Goldie side of things. But if they were to work it out where Goldie's like, hey, I want to stay in St. Louis, I don't really want to go anywhere else, and they're like, hey, the only way you can stay here is if you're a platoon option. He's like, cool, I'm in. So would you be open to that? Then a small deal. If not, I mean, you don't have to be.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I feel like, I don't know. I guess the veteran leadership didn't really do anything this year. So I don't know if you want to keep going that route. I don't know if Heim Bloom likes that route. Probably not. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even know, like, does he, like, look, what kind of veteran leadership does he provide? I don't know, because apparently they needed Brandon Crawford and Matt Carpenter to get it done. So, oh boy. Okay, what's the next move? I think it's a pretty
Um,
clear one that we haven't said yet.
what, trading Helsley? Trading
No, to fix the offense.
Oh, to fix the offense.
Yeah, there's a
Firing
certain
Turner Ward?
yes, fire Turner Ward. We're all on board, right? Like all of
Yeah.
us, I think.
I thought that was like gonna happen. Like that should just happen today. Like I don't know.
Fair. I just thought it was worth saying.
Trading Sean Armstrong for Dylan Carlson.
I wonder if the Rays would take that. Oh,
What if we
boy.
traded Jordan Walker for Dylan Carlson?
You know, I wouldn't rule anything out at this point. It's bad. I do think, yeah, Turner Ward. I don't know how he's like his, and I don't like saying it. I'm not like trying to job hunt here, but like, yeah, I don't the results at this point. Like, I don't think there's a way you can keep going with Ward here.
What if the Rays sign Harrison Bader and Tyler O'Neill and just complete the outfield and then they're gonna win the World Series?
Honestly, well, Tyler O'Neill won't play there because of the turf, so that's off. So they have to, yeah. Oh gosh.
Wait, does he just not play there in division? He goes there all the time now.
I think he's probably played there this year. I haven't really paid attention, but yeah, I do think Turner Ward's gone. I think that's pretty easy to see. Goldie, I do think it makes sense. Also, even if the Cardinals want to bring back in platoon role, I kind of think he's gonna leave regardless because I just think there's gonna be a team out there that will be interested in him starting. Like the Diamondbacks are probably gonna lose Christian Walker this offseason. Who knows? But there's a good chance of it. Totally make a reunion with the Diamondbacks work for Goldie. Or again, the bats this offseason's thin. Like it's Juan Soto and then like a massive gap. And then Pete Alonso is like second best name, but like he's actually like I just looked this or was looking or listening to this. Pete Alonso is the worst hitter with runners in scoring position this year. Like he's horrible. So he'd fit in with the Cardinals.
Perfectly.
The Cardinals should go after Pete Alonso. He'd be the perfect replacement for Paul Goldschmidt.
They already like each other, so like,
there you go. Yeah. So, but like, and Anthony Santander is like another big name, but like other than that, it's like so thin. So I think there's gonna be a team that convinces themselves that Goldschmidt could be their guy. So I think he's gone. I think Turner Ward's gone.
I think real quick. Can you guess the two hitters on the Cardinals who have a higher OPS plus than Matt Carpenter?
Oh, I know Carp's high. Contreras,
yeah,
and Burleson, right?
And then Matt Carpenter's third.
Yeah, it's great. He's actually been kind of decent for his role.
You bring him back.
You bring Carp back. I don't know. Jeez. That's all seems to be pretty clear to me. I think where it gets interesting, let's talk about the Nato side of things. Is it like how like percentage wise, like how, or I guess urgency wise, how urgent are you to try to move on from Nolan Arenado? Again, it's been better in the second half. He's really started to turn. He's hitting the ball harder, a little more fly balls, a little more extra base hits. It's not Nato that we used to know, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, that's why I would try to move on from him because I think there's definitely a team. I don't know what Muncy's status looks like for the Dodgers. I should probably check that out. But I mean that was the obvious fit. If he wants to go back to Southern California, I know the Angels have an opening at third base like 80% of the time. So I don't know, and they're probably going to try to win. That would be pretty funny. But yeah, I'm sure there's a team that would try to take him on. The Yankees maybe. I don't think they have third base quite figured out yet. I feel like they have like holes in their lineup everywhere except for Aaron Judge and Juan Soto.
Also, I'm seeing a little bit of something in the chat that I don't think is totally true. So this is from Ghostface Gaming. Matt Holliday is going to be the hitting coach until they fired Shilk, got rid of Maddox, best pitching coach Holliday. They want nothing to do with the Ollie minor league coaching staff. So timeline, I don't think that adds up because Jeff Albert was still there with Ollie. and the Cardinals wanted to keep Jeff Albert, and I don't think the Cardinals actually really liked their coaching staff at the time, and that's why they just made a managerial change instead of firing the coaching staff, because they did have Maddox, they did have Jeff Albert, which also Jeff Albert, since he's left, the Cardinals offense has got a lot worse. Matt Holliday was going to be Ollie's bench coach and then backed out. So there was I don't think there was ever anything real about him being a hitting coach when Schilt was here. Also, I don't sorry, sneezed. I don't know we don't know why Matt Holliday stepped away other than it sounds like family commitment stuff, which maybe was more than that, but him and Ollie are really good friends. So I don't think it was because of Ollie necessarily.
I mean, I almost said Matt Carpenter. Maybe Matt Holliday is going to come fix the offense by joining the offense and being a hitter.
Joining. Hey, but honestly, he could be a managerial candidate
Yeah.
if he's ready to jump in. Like, I do think you're looking this offseason, assuming they move on from Ollie, which we can talk about that. Skip Schumacher makes a ton of sense. Matt Holliday, Albert Pujols, Yachty, like they're all going to be thrown around. I don't think the Cardinals will trust Yachty. I don't know if Albert's ready. Matt Holliday, if the family stuff's real, then I don't know if he's ready. But if it was kind of more of like, hey, I'm not going to jump into a bench coach yet, but maybe I do a manager, I think he's
real. He becomes the manager once we get Ethan Holliday with the first overall pick.
That'd be funny. Who was it that told the Cardinals not to draft their son? Was it Matt Holliday?
Fernando Tatis?
No. The Fernando Tatis just trying to get them to take.
Oh, okay. That's the other way.
It might have been Holliday. Oh no, it was Mike Matheny. Mike Matheny said, "Don't draft my son," because he was like, I don't want to have to nepotism stuff. Like he's like, just let him go somewhere else. So, which I don't think Matheny's son turned into really anything. But, so yeah, I do think Matt Holliday's an interesting name to watch this offseason for sure. I don't think he'd be a hitting coach though. I think it's bench coach or manager. I think I know people like to throw out Jim Edmonds as a manager, but it's been reported the Cardinals have approached Jim Edmonds about this before. Or sorry, his hitting coach. The Cardinals have approached him about it before. He doesn't want to do it.
That's a win-win. You lose him as an announcer and you get him as the hitting coach.
See, that's the thing. He wants to be an announcer. And
why? He's so bad at it.
I know. It's because he doesn't want to have to deal with the daily grind of a hitting coach. He'd rather he's available to talk with guys and he likes helping, but he doesn't want to have to deal with the grind. So anyways, I do think there's interesting names out there. Yeah, you're getting some feedback, some good feedback while you're Edmonds taking the chat. So so I think I agree with you. I'm open to moving Nato. It's not essential to me, but I do think it makes a lot of sense because you could save that money. Again, he could be better elsewhere, but you're also, especially if you can get someone to take the whole contract, I think you have to do it. If you have to eat some, I'm okay with it. If you eat a lot, then I don't know if you do it or not. Because maybe you just hope he gets better. But I do think his attitude, I think he cares too much. I think people say Nato doesn't care anymore. I think Nato is so emotional about his performance that when he's bad, it looks horrible. And then I don't think that helps a team. I think people don't want to be around Arenado when he's annoyed and mad. I know Newt's good friends with him, but I just can't imagine how that plays in a clubhouse when your highest paid player, the guy's supposed to be your leader, is sulking all the time. I just don't think it's a great look. And so send him somewhere like LA where Mookie Betts is the leader of the team and Ohtani's the center of attention and Nato can kind of just be in the background and probably works out for him better.
And when Tommy Edman, Nolan Arenado, and Jack Flaherty all together again, and they're just playing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, what that would be the pinnacle of this
Jason
whole thing.
Hayward.
Oh my gosh. Jason Hayward gets some passionate speech to Nato and gets him to pop off. Oh my goodness. I just can't anymore.
And then sign Max Scherzer to be your to fill your quota of having one Hall of Famer in uniform for the last 120 years.
Jeez. Oh man. Okay, so I think we're going Nato. We'll have more conversations going forward. I think I just want to kind of test.
Maybe Mo's the Hall of Famer in uniform. Just put him in a uniform.
Oh my gosh, put him in a uniform. Jeez. Oh, I don't even know what to say about that. Okay, so here's the other thing. Is there any of the young bats you think they need to move off of? Because I think there's two scenarios here. You either go with the scenario of, hey, pretty much everyone except for Wynn and Burleson, which obviously you don't move those two.
I don't know. I feel like Burleson's movable.
Why?
because that's just the pattern.
Okay, I get that argument, but assuming you're having new leadership coming in who's gonna not be Mo in the front office, like, I trust them to help these guys going forward, or at least I wanna give them a chance. I don't think like, if it was Mo continuing, then I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Flip the guys that actually perform,"
Like,
because
he's the only one who has value.
yeah,
I'm
but
not
I
trading
don't
Win because you don't have, like, a shortstop to back him up, but, like,
yeah. Let's just there's no they're not gonna trade Burleson or Win,
yeah.
so let's just take that off the table. And I don't think they should. So there's two, I think there's two frames of thought here. You either move like you and Donovan, I don't think they move either. I think he's too valuable to the clubhouse. And I think he's one of those players that's more valuable to you than he is to other teams. So I think if you trade Donovan, I don't think you get something incredible in return. And I think you miss him. So like I think he's off the table too. Not necessarily because he should be untouchable, but like I just personally don't think they would move him. And I don't want to move him either. But like I think the two guys people bring up, and you could throw Jordan Walker in there. I doubt that though. But like Large Newbar and Nolan Gorman, right? Both have vastly underperformed this year for different reasons. New's got the injury stuff and just is like, what on earth, dude? You're not looking like Newbar anymore. And then Gorman is a strikeout machine. It's bad. There's two frames of thought. One, it's like, hey, if you want to shake up this offense and make it better, you probably got to move some of these names around, right? Or you keep them and be like, hey, their value's already so low. Why would we move them and have them go off to be great for the Mariners or whoever?
That's what they did with Carlson and O'Neill, so at least
Yeah,
get
but like this would be a little premature. I feel like they
yeah.
just had one down season. I feel like I'm more in the camp that although I understand the argument for shaking it up, if it was if Mo's in charge, if it's the same front office, yes, you got to shake it up. If there's new leadership, I don't mind them holding on. I actually think it's probably better to hold on to Gorm and Newbar because you can have a different eyes on them and
Yeah, I
try
think
to
that's
make
fair.
things work rather than give up on them. But if someone said you should just move one of them for the sake of it to shake things up, I totally understand. But where are you at with that?
I mean, the team struggles against left-handed pitching, and you have, like, what is it, like, 4 left-handed bats now that, like, are potentially gonna be
Yeah,
everyday players, like, in the heart of the order,
yeah,
if everything goes right. So maybe you just, like, trade one of them to, like, shake it up. I think right now I'm leaning towards trading Nootbaar because he would have the most value. Obviously, Gorman, like, every time I watch him hit, it's painful. Um, and I think Nootbaar has, like, good peripherals. I think he still has the most value out of the bunch.
yeah.
Um, but I
And
will be
Gorm could be your third baseman if Arenado's gone.
that's true. Or Jordan Walker could be the third baseman.
No, that's not happening. Don't let the don't throw that out
I
there,
mean,
Itch.
they would do that. That's what they would do.
I'm gonna assume the new leadership won't do that. I'm just
Yeah, that's
going.
true.
This is like let's just assume for the rest of this conversation it's different leadership because if it's not, we're gonna come back to all these things and be like, yeah, that's not happening. They're not doing it the right way. But
Yeah. Or just make Kareem the Povo.
yeah, if they're not going to do Heim Bloom, Kareem should be next in charge here. Chat, I know there's already some people that that sneeze was sus. What? Like it's just a sneeze. If anyone in the chat, I've seen some people say if you were to trade one or the other, do you trade Newt or do you trade Gorman at this point? I'd be interested to hear what people think on that. I'm definitely not moving Walker. I think that'd be really dumb.
I'll trade Gorman and Marmol for the two-way player from the Dodgers. Sure. That's Sean. Yeah, that sounds great.
Michael Lorenzen?
He's on the
He's at the Royals. I was trying to think of a random guy that's two-way. They've got to have someone else on their team that's been a two-way before. Is Max Muncy ever a two-way guy?
maybe. I don't know. Maybe Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty hit a home run off Trevor Bauer.
Interesting. Yeah, Jack Flaherty could be the guy.
Yeah.
I think he was. I'm seeing a lot of both. New bar from Bill. Yeah, both again. Man, there's a lot of that's tough. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I do like what Sean Carey's saying here, especially if they go with a different leadership group. I think the Cardinals can do a retool next year. Still have a youth movement, trade and get rid of Goldschmidt, Arenado, Michaelis, Matz. I would go on a shopping spree like the Royals did. I think most of that is possible, except I don't think Michaelis is all that movable. So maybe replace like Michaelis with declining the options of a Lynn and Gibson. And then from there, like And honestly, I think honestly, if you were able to move on from all of or most of Nato's money, not bring back Goldschmidt, move Matson, most of his money, decline the option on Lynn. That's a lot of money you save right there. That's like the $67 million, $70 million range. So I think you could keep a Gibson to have like a veteran starter because guys are going to get hurt, and he's a quality back of the rotation starter, right? Like he shouldn't be your number 2 or 3, but like 4 or 5, you can roll with that.
Who's gonna be Bobby Witt Jr. though?
That's true. They got to figure out that guy. Wilson Contreras. I don't know. Yeah, I know it's bad. And also the Royals are like really good with runners in scoring position, and the Cardinals are awful. So I don't know. I do think so. Here, let's talk about that. Do we think you said you think people would pick up Nato's salary, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I think there's
yeah,
teams that would like hear it out.
yeah, I
There's
think
teams
so.
that don't care about money. The Cardinals care about money. Like they're trading the Rays for Dylan Carlson, then they'd probably have to eat like half the contract. But
Yeah. I think there's a chance they have to eat some of the deal, but I don't think they have to. Like, I don't think it's an unmovable contract by any means. So 2025, he's due 32. 2026, he's due 26. In 2027, he's due 15 million. Then his contract's over. But the Cardinals get 5 million from the Rockies in 2025 and 2026. So in 2025, the Cardinals are just paying him 27 million. 2026, they're paying him just 22 million, and then the 15 million in 2027. I don't think that's that crazy for a guy who is recently an MVP candidate, all-star level player. I think a team that can afford to take on salary like that would potentially do it, especially if they don't have to give up anything and they maybe even get some more money eaten on it. So like, what if the Cardinals eat 2 million? Because that 5 million is from the Rockies regardless. So like, okay, so then they're paying 22 million next, or the team that's acquiring him is paying 23 million next year. They're paying 18 million the year after and 15 million the year after that. Like if Nato's a free agent right now, I think that's probably about what he gets, like a 3-year deal. So I don't think you have to eat 25 to 50% of it, Jackie. Like I think you could eat a little bit of it and get someone to take it on.
I mean, if I was the owner, I would just eat all of it and buy prospects. But you know what? I'm not the owner, so
If they really are not trying to win next year,
yeah.
I totally agree. You eat as much as you can and you try to get a prospect back, even if I think if you ate all of it, you get something decent, but
Trend to
it's
the
really
Royals
not.
for Caglione.
Oh man. Also, like this off season of all off seasons, like again, we just talked about it. Like Juan Soto. I mean, look at the 2025 free agent class for hitters. It is not good, guys. Like, I don't think it's gonna be that hard to see a team go like, yeah, maybe we take a chance on this guy. And then also again, like even with the young guys, like we've seen veterans go on to play better elsewhere too. So like there's probably some teams that are looking at Nato like, hey, if we get him out of St. Louis, he could be pretty decent. The best free agent options this year are going to be like Danny Jansen, Goldschmidt, Pete Alonso, Hoskins, Glaber Torres, Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, Juan Soto,
Juan Soto's pretty
Tyler
good.
O'Neill. Yeah, it's like, but like, so like it's Juan Soto, and then you drop down, and it's like Pete Alonso, Matt Chapman, and then drop down. It's like Tyler O'Neill, Anthony Santander. Like a lot of teams need offense, and I just named like 6 names there that are like one superstar, one like star, 4 good guys. So I can
Well,
see a team
Goldie's
convincing
not
themselves.
good, but that's fine.
Oh yeah, I wasn't counting Goldie in that. I'm more like Glaber
Okay.
Torres, Anthony Santander, Tyler O'Neill. So
If they re-signed Tyler O'Neill with new leadership and fired Ollie,
that'd be funny. I
and
could
then he
see
wins
it.
MVP.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I'd love to see Tyler back, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So, yeah, Tyler. I mean, I think even last time I think I've totally changed my tune on Ollie. Last time I was like, hey, I don't think it's really his fault, but I think you could keep him, and I'd support keeping him, but like I think they're gonna get rid of him because you just got to clean house. Now I'm kind of like I think it'd be weird to keep Ollie. I don't know. It's
I
tough.
don't know. I feel like he's not the one responsible for the Walker stuff, but like he's not like against it either.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. The comments that came out from him and Mo makes me feel like Mo's the one, or Ollie's the one who didn't want
Or
to
Mo
play.
could just be throwing him under the bus.
That's true. Which also, yeah, that's true. And also, like, I don't totally blame Ollie if he's trying to manage for his job right now, because he might think Walker's not. I'm not saying he's right, but like, if he doesn't think Walker's the best guy, like, he's trying to keep his job too. Um, and also to your point, like, even if Ollie didn't want to play Walker, that's on Mo too to not, like, if he knew Ollie wasn't going to play him, why'd he call him up? So Mo does deserve the majority of blame, but I think, man, the way Ollie's handled it's just been kind of like, what on earth, dude? So I don't know. Anything else you want to address today?
I mean, like at this point, do we just hope they lose all the games and tank for a draft pick? I don't know.
Ethan Holiday. Their luck, they'd get the number 1 pick and then they would lose it in the lottery and end up picking like 5th again, but whatever. I don't know anymore.
I mean, the White Sox can't get the number 1 pick because of the way the lottery works.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
But
like
actually,
a
the
lot of those
Cardinals,
teams, I don't think the A's can either.
interesting. We
Oh.
should look into that because that's actually going to start mattering for the Cardinals here.
Yeah.
Oh man, so interesting. Yeah, well, we'll start looking at the 2025 draft at some point here because we got to start thinking about stuff. Anyways, we appreciate you guys joining. We really didn't even talk about this Brewers game because it's like whatever, we expect them to lose, but it is hilarious that they lost the way they did because it's just like typical Cardinals, man. It's just I don't know what to do. Oh, Cleveland, I think that's totally true. Shelf Sonny the rest of the year, especially if you end up going, hey, we're not winning. Sonny Gray should not make another start. Do you
Like,
feel the
what do you
same?
do with him? Do you just like IL him?
Yeah, somehow you got to figure out a way to IL him. You like imagine if Sonny Gray blew out his elbow in September.
Yeah,
That'd be horrible. So I don't know about Fetty and Palante, but you for sure gotta like not do that. So, anyways, what a time. I'm just so frustrated. I'm so done with this, but here we are. So, anyways, thanks for joining us today. We'll be live on Sunday. This one was kind of all over the place because we're just kind of upset like you are and want to see change happen. But we'll start getting pretty, especially because assuming they're not getting back into this, we'll react to things as they go on. But we're probably gonna have some pretty like pointed conversations about what changes we want to see happen. And so there'll probably be a little bit more of like specialized episodes about like, here's what we do about the offense and here's what we think an offseason plan to start looking at, what leadership changes, all that kind of stuff. But for now, times are bleak in St. Louis. And you know, sometimes things have to get worse before they get better. So maybe 2024 is the like you thought it was going to rebound, but really it just needed to dip even more for real change to happen. Hopefully that's what we're about to see. Make sure to check out 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. We always thank them as a sponsor of this podcast. And SeatGeek, again, if you want to save $20 off concert tickets, MLB tickets, anything, use our code NEWNEWS. Also, again, first time on an episode or for us, like the stream, share it with your friends. We'd love if you subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.